I'd like to just kind of walk through some of the major benefits of personal injury, and kind of put some numbers together to get you to see, how you can easily increase your business $100,000 or more. And by the way, my program is set up to comfortably increase your business $100,000 in 90 days, and between $300,000 and $500,000 by your 12th month. That's what it's comfortably set up to do. And that's not even busting your butt. But here's what it also entails. It entails not sitting on your ass. That's also what it entails. And remember, personal injury is the single most lucrative thing you can do when you're exchanging time for money in your office. That is the single most lucrative. That's the most amount of money you will make per unit of time in an office. And so one of the things I was talking to a client the other day is he was not learning he wasn't watching the videos to learn the basics of personal injury. And he'd wasted, I think, about 2 to 4 weeks, something like that, on it. And I pretty much just said, where are you putting your time? Where are you prioritizing your time and energy? And you might want to take a serious look at this. Now, remember, this is the new year. This is the best time for self-evaluation. See what you're doing wrong. What did not work last year? Some of your behavior patterns just did not work. And you better recognize them. You better identify them. And I said, you need to learn how to prioritize your time. Because here's what we're talking about, the most lucrative thing you can do in a practice. And he's not spending any proportional time relative to it, or he's giving it the same amount of time as, maybe something like Facebook pay-per-click or Google reviews, and I don't think you guys understand that we're talking about an elephant versus a mouse. Personal injury is the elephant. It's freaking huge. And all this other stuff, you want to do, I don't want to belittle it too much, because you do want to put the main key points in place. When I say main, I'm talking about the ones the patients actually go to in the order they go to them, instead of just half-assing it and taking a shot somewhere. So there is an order of what to do and how to do it. So you should do that. But there is no way that the amount of time on pay-per-click or Google reviews should equate to your time and energy in personal injury. The return is pathetic. You're not going to get nowhere near the return on your reviews or anything else you're doing compared to personal injury. So let's go into the benefits of personal injury, and to make sure we're clear, because I don't think a lot of you realize the power of this of all the benefits of personal injury. And I'm going to point out 2 major benefits, and I'm kind of curious if anybody even is aware of them. So let's just go through some of the benefits of personal injury. So real quick, let's just walk down the chart here. So, Andre, give me one benefit of personal injury. Okay, Brian, one benefit of personal injury.
You get the most money for your time.
Yeah, that's definitely a very good reason to do it. We have a call-in user. I don't know who's the call-in? Call-in?
Doug.
Who?
Doug.
Doug who?
Myers.
Okay. Because Doug, we don't have any other Dougs. You know that, right, Doug?
I didn't know that.
Okay. Well, let's just go to the real world now. Okay. So, give me a benefit, Doug.
The reimbursement is significant compared to other insurances.
Say that again.
The reimbursement.
Meaning what?
It's significant compared to insurance or cash patients.
Okay, so you're referring to like the UCR?
Right.
Yeah, isn't it like a lot of fun when you actually do $100 in services that you actually get paid $100?
Absolutely.
Compared to, your $30 major medical check?
Right.
I'll tell you, that just used to piss me off in practice. You get that major medical check, You know, I remember I told a friend of mine, you know, he's not in the chiropractic industry, and I said, how would you like to get paid 50% of your services? He thought we got paid. You know, the community out there thinks we actually get paid 100% for our services. I said, how would you like to get paid for only 50% of your services? I said, that's all I get paid for. Yeah, that's crap. Yeah, I mean, when those personal injury checks came in, I'm like, yeah, I actually got paid the full amount. It was kind of refreshing. There's another couple call-in users. Who else do we have here? Thanks, Doug. Anybody
Jared.
else? What? Jared, what's another benefit?
Obviously, it would just be the ability to learn another trade within practice, you know, to continue learning, and obviously all the benefits everyone else has already stated, but just the continued education and being able to see more people.
Not quite sure what you mean, Jared.
Just, you know, it's a new aspect. It's a new thing within practice, you know. It actually just creates a full understanding of it versus just kind of process autos, you know, when a patient gets in an auto accident and not really realizing how to do it, you know, correctly and concisely, but now having a system and procedure to just kind of expedite it and not be so much of the unknown territory.
Okay, that helps a little with clarity. I'd suggest you work on your language a little bit, your communication skills a little bit. It took you a lot to say something. I don't know if you're aware of that, Jared. And even when you said it, it wasn't real clear. So what I heard you say was that it's a very scientific, it's a defined system. It's defined. Is that what you meant, Jared?
Correct.
Yeah, and that's true, especially in chiropractic, because chiropractic, you know, this thing with this subluxation is all over the damn map. I mean, I had a doctor ask me 2 years out of practice how to determine somebody's treatment schedule. Now, this was a subluxation doctor. I'm like, you're kidding me. And this is the real world. Is that's what care is based on. It's based on biometrics. It's based on the 3 phases of healing. It's not based on the neural kilometer and the subluxation station. It's not. And kids are just flat out confused. They are absolutely confused. Now, we have another call-in user. Who's that? Who's the call-in user? The other one.
I don't know if it's me, Doc. Rich Casabona.
Okay, yeah, Rich. Give me another benefit.
What I like about it is we're, especially with the new information that I've been learning with you, is that we're really helping a lot of people that we would have, or I definitely missed before in the past, especially with that ligament injury.
Oh, and that's huge. You know how many chiropractors are missing the number one soft tissue injury, Rich?
I was one of them.
Yeah, and Rich, you were my competition.
Right.
Do you see how there's no chiropractors that are your competition?
Yeah, I do. I see that because I've been getting some people coming in from other doctors, and they had no clue, just like I didn't.
Yeah, what's the typical chiropractor do? Cervical sprain, strain, nothing else, and then treats them forever, has a high bill, no financial drivers. Chiropractor typically does not even know the 3 phases of healing. He's not treating them forever because they're on the 3 phases of healing. He's treating them for the money. Right, Rich? Right.
Yeah.
You know what the hell I'm talking about, don't you?
And then the attorney wants to cut the case.
Yeah, and then the chiropractor's mad.
Right.
You know, he's too ignorant to understand he's the problem. Yeah, so that's definitely it's an unbelievable niche. Dan Richter, what's another benefit?
I mean, I don't think it's been said outright, but just the money.
Yeah, what aspect of the money?
Well, it's your time for, you know, your, like you said before, your time that it takes you to make the money the personal injury gives you. You know, you have to work like a dog in medical, but you don't have to as much in personal injury.
That's a major concept. So really, it's time, Dan. Time relative to money, not just money.
Time versus money.
Okay, and that's real important. And why is that important? Because all of you guys have limited time. And, I say this formula over and over. Here is the formula. If you write it down, I'm going to tell you the formula for wealth right now. Number one, the very first thing you always learn to do is how to maximize your exchange of time for money. So in other words, how to stay busy, how to fill your time. That's the very first thing you always want to do. Now, most small businesses never learn that. They never learn how to get and keep business to where they're now busy. They're actually busy throughout the whole day. There's very few chiropractors that are actually busy throughout the whole day. They still have time to sit around and get on Facebook. So after that, the next step is to maximize your amount of money per unit of time. And people always miss the first step. They don't know how to get business. They don't know advertising. They don't know publicity. They don't know educational sales. So they don't know how to get more business. Then they don't know the principles of patient retention. And now you have a crap practice. And then of course, that's when you're always running for new patients. And so that's the very first thing you have to learn is how to get new patients. Now that includes low dollar, because if you don't know how to get low dollar cases, you're not going to know how to get high dollar cases because the principles are exactly the same. The only difference is the relative need to relative money, but everything's the same. So the amount of time that it takes. So number two is, and by the way, this is exactly what I did. Then first I learned how to get business and keep it to where I was just flat out too damn busy. That's the first thing. You have to have those skill sets first. Now, most chiropractors never learn that, so what do? They shortcut. They try to do a shortcut. What does that mean? It means they just try to run the higher dollar amounts. Well, they never learned advertising, and they never learned educational sales in the first place. And if you don't know how to do that with basic patients in the marketplace, you're not going to know how to do it with anything else. And you see chiropractors doing this all the time. They have low volume, and next thing you do, they're buying shit. They're buying the decompression machines. Well, they're just going to get market forces with that also. If you never learn advertising and you never learn educational sales, and you never know the principles of patient retention, it doesn't matter what else category you're going into, you're just going to get market forces and you're not going to do more than that also. And chiropractors don't understand that. You can't be stupid in advertising and educational sales with the general public, but now be a wizard in personal injury. It doesn't work that way. So the first step is learn how to maximize your exchange of time for money. Number two is learn how to maximize your amount of money per unit of time. Number three is how to now start leveraging your money. That's when people start investing. And then number four is how to leverage time. Those are the four scales, and they're in that order. And that's exactly how I became a millionaire at age 33. But it all starts, it's like a pyramid though, and what people don't understand, business owners and chiropractors, that very bottom of the pyramid, you have to know the basics of patient retention, advertising, and educational sales. And if you don't know educational sales in chiropractic, you're in big trouble, buddy, because 92% of the people aren't looking for your ass. And only educational sales gets those. Now you're stuck fighting with that crappy-ass little 8% with every other Tom, Dick, or Harry, and now you're trying to get a few more Facebook reviews than the guy next door. Now you're competing at the lowest, crappiest level. That's not where you need to be. So, by the way, nobody has said the number one benefit. I don't think anybody's going to get the number one benefit. Dave Packer? What's a benefit?
It's the least expensive for continued referrals, meaning you could spend a lot of time, you could spend a lot of money on advertising one-shot deals versus once you have the skill set and you get the educational sales and you build these relationships, you have continued, the machine is going. The referrals continue and it doesn't cost you a dime.
That is the second biggest damn reason, and it's huge. And by the way, Dave said two things. He didn't say one, he said two. The first thing he said was the amount of money that it takes to create the business. Dave, how much money, outside of paying me for my consulting, how much money did you spend on advertising and educational sales to build your $500,000 empire in 12 months?
Next to nothing.
What was it, under $500?
Easily. The money and gas to drive my ass to an attorney's office and meet with them.
The real money we're talking about is postage, envelopes, a little bit of labor hours for your marketing assistant, and your gas to go drive to them and do a presentation, right?
Exactly.
So you spent less than $500 in a year to increase your business about $500,000. Is that not right?
Yes, sir.
That's a major, guys. You can't get those kind of returns on this other crap marketing you're doing. And that's what I talked about earlier, is paying attention, is knowing how to prioritize your damn marketing. You don't just run everywhere because, your buddy in another state or the chiropractor, down the street is doing it. And that's what chiropractors, they've never learned business and what you should do first, second, and third, and why. And so they're constantly just chasing everything. Yeah, imagine, Dave, how much time and energy and money would you have to spend in Facebook pay-per-clicks or Google likes to do $500,000 compared to personal injury $500,000?
I don't even want to think about it. You wouldn't have a life.
Do you even want to spend that kind of time trying to get Google likes to get those referrals?
No.
That's a major component. Now, Dave hit on the second part of that, which is continued referrals. That alone is the reason you should do personal injury. When you do anything else, when you spend time or money on your likes, you got to go do them again. When you spend money on Facebook pay-per-click, you got to go spend it again. You don't have to do it with personal injury. Especially with the attorneys, all you have to do is deliver. You have to just deliver what you say you're going to deliver, and you will continue to get that business. And that is huge. Not just the amount of money, how little it takes to actually build a large amount of revenue with personal injury, but also the repetition, the continued. How many continued referrals a month do you get now, Dave?
Typically 10 from the attorneys.
Just like clockwork, right?
Yeah.
That's how it happens. Now, nobody has said the number one reason yet. I'm just telling you. There's one reason still. There's one reason why you should drop every damn thing and do personal injury. And not 100%, but it should definitely be one of your major marketing categories. So, Cole, what's a major benefit?
Competition.
What's that?
I like
Little to no competition.
I'm with Cole. Is Cole?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Cole, yeah.
All right. You combine all those things together. For me, that means freedom. I can reproduce this, and I'm not held hostage to an insurance company. I'm not held hostage to referrals, chasing new patients. I got freedom to do some things that I need to do. Finances are there. That's what I like, the freedom. How important is that, freedom? Freedom. In other words, how easy is it, Cole, for you to bring on an associate and teach him the documentation for the referrals you're getting? Oh, this is very reproducible.
Very. Doesn't matter the guy's personality, does it?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
It's a science. It's a science. You just teach him the science. And then what do you get? It's exactly that is a major concept. Freedom. Dave Packer, you're starting to get that, aren't you? Freedom.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get these referrals. It creates more freedom. Dr. F. Who's Dr. F?
Yeah, this is Chad.
Chad. What's a benefit, Chad?
Well, I like I like a lot of what's been said. You know, getting paid what you charge actually instead of having it cut.
Give me something.
I don't know. I feel like I need to learn how to do personal injury better, so I'm really excited about it.
Give me a benefit that wasn't said. What's another benefit to personal injury that was not said?
Well, we can help people in ways that a lot of times they go to the hospital and get drugged up and not a lot of help, and we can help them in ways that a lot of others can't and get paid for it.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, because how long would you do something, Chad, even though you made a good income at it, but you were not helping people at all?
I wouldn't find any fulfillment in it, so I don't think I would stick at it very long.
Right, that's just human nature, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a major part. Yeah, when you're learning personal injury, you're actually learning how you're helping eliminate a massive amount of disabilities and arthritis. You may not totally eliminate it. As a matter of fact, you won't. There's some cases you absolutely will. Some cases with your treatment, you're actually going to prevent that person from having osteoarthritis. And then there's other cases where it'll be a part. It'll be a significant part. That's what will happen. And so, being able to help somebody, that's a major part of just life, enjoying what you're doing. You know? Ed Kurtz, can you think of a personal injury benefit?
Yeah, I think they're fun. They're just fun to treat. It's enjoyment.
In what way fun?
I like the challenge.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. That is that was like one of the high reasons I did it. Let's face it. How quickly is it to get bored in a chiropractic office? You see the same thing over and over.
Very fast.
I'm telling you, in 2 years, I was bored to death. I thought, my God, I'm going to spend the rest of my life. I mean, how thoughtless is it?
Thoughtless?
Yeah.
Emotions. You become a technician. It's not a lot of fun.
You're exactly right. You just become a technician because you see the same things essentially over and over. And to me, it was so dulling the mind. And so when I got into personal injury, you're exactly right, Eric. That's what I liked about it. I call it a chess match. It's a chess match between you and the opposing attorney. And that was exciting. That was challenging. You're exactly right. That was another reason. That was a major reason for me. It was challenging. And by the way, that's why I like doing it now. I just like winning. I like challenging and I like winning. You know, that's exciting to me. I like competition. Matt Goda, can you think of a benefit?
Little to no competition with fellow chiropractors.
And prior to joining my program, you didn't realize that, did you?
No, sir.
There's no competition. There's nobody that's doing this. Nobody that's putting all of these pieces together the way we teach it. I told you, in 20 plus years of teaching personal injury, I've had only one client, one in 20 plus years, that could itemize everything I teach when he joined me. One in 20 plus years. You have no competition. And it's not even marginal. It's not even marginal. You know, you still got 80% of those chiropractors out there. The patient comes in with back or neck pain from an auto injury. And that chiropractor, within 24 to 48 hours, is now doing a complete paradigm shift and pushing the damn button to the light to the liver. And that chiropractor thinks that that's normal. So, by the way, nobody has said the number one reason yet. Nobody has said it. I didn't think anybody's going to get it. Nobody said it yet. There's one reason. There's one great reason, and it's like one of probably the best reason why you should be doing chiropractic. Joe, you got a benefit of chiropractic?
Yeah, the patients are more compliant with their treatment plans.
Man, is that not true? Especially if it's a referral from an attorney, right?
Absolutely.
My God, you know who the easiest patient, you know the other category who the easiest patient retention is?
No.
The medical doctor referral. When I got referrals from the neurosurgeon, that was like God told him to see me. Neurosurgeons have unbelievable authority. When I got referrals from my neurosurgeons, you talk about patient retention. It was off the charts. But yeah, you're exactly right. They're so much easier with patient retention. Corinne, can you think of a benefit? Are you there, Corinne? Kevin, can you think of a benefit for personal injury? Are you there, Kevin? That was Kevin Luck. Kevin Stahlbaumer, I've got you. Can you hear me, Kevin Stahlbaumer? Kevin, you need to get your audio fixed. Dr. Kim, can you think of another benefit?
It is a steady market, which is forced market. There you have to refer to doctor.
Say that again.
And it's not. The market is not going to change because it's forced. The attorney needs doctor to treat their client.
That's the number one reason right there. And most of you guys do not understand this. Say it again, Dr. Kim.
The personal injury market is the...
Your sound, can you turn your volume up a little bit, Dr. Kim?
Yes.
Say it again. This is the number one reason right here. You need to be doing personal injury. Say it again, Dr. Kim.
Personal injury market is the steady market, which is not going to change because the attorney needs their client to send some doctor anyway. Now,
Dr. Kim said two different subjects. The first subject, he said it was a steady market. In other words, people are always going to be in auto accidents. That's not the number one reason that I was thinking, but that's a true reason. It is a steady market. That's true. The number one reason was the second thing Dr. Kim said. It's a forced market. A forced market. Those attorneys have to send those patients somewhere. And most of the chiropractors I deal with do not realize this. Those cases cannot sit on that desk. They're worthless when they sit on that desk. It's a forced market. I mean, that's like being in the cigarette industry in the 50s or 60s. How would you like to have cigarette stock in the 50s or 60s, where it's now a forced habit, where now they're addicted and they have to buy? Well, that's what you got here. It's a forced market. You got all these regular injuries, and they have to go somewhere. That's why I always used to say, it's like taking a rake and just go raking the money off the sidewalk. It's unbelievable. Mark Harris, what's another benefit?
I think one of the things that has been said, I like the idea that by using, educational sales, I think it also opens the door with the attorneys where they feel like they can finally respect you because they actually see somebody who has knowledge base that they can use. So that's what I like. I mean, it's just easier port of entry into the attorney's office.
And how much easier is your communication been since you've been learning my system, talking with attorneys, than prior learning my system, talking with attorneys?
Well, I used the old system, which was not good, and that was using gifts, this, that, and the other. So it's a much easier system.
And you're not even a black belt on it, on my system, are you?
No.
And so you started using it in the last, 30 days roughly?
30 to 60 days.
Okay, and how much easier is their reception and flow and understanding?
I think it's much easier. They tend to actually look at the material and say, yeah, that's what we want in our reports. Nobody's putting that in our reports.
Exactly. Very, very valuable. So, Marvin Lee, what would be a benefit for personal injury? Can you hear me, Marvin? Okay, Marvin, we still have audio problems. If you could get that straightened out. Mike Drought, what's a benefit to personal injury?
I think it's building a credibility for both attorneys and the general public.
Can you be more specific with that?
In other words, you're not talking about subway stations. You're talking about the 3 phases of healing, and it's all science-based, and you're not, trying to put people in those paradigm shifts to become business for you.
Yeah, that makes it a heck of a lot easier, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
When you actually go to third-party science as opposed to a philosophy of a particular profession, right?
Absolutely.
Right? What do I always say, Mike? When are attorneys going to care about the philosophy and subluxation of chiropractic?
Oh, when health raises over?
Well, what do I always say? I would say when you care about the philosophy of the attorney's profession.
Right.
How much do you care about the philosophy of the attorney's profession?
Not at all.
Right. Mike Erdman, what's a benefit? Can't hear you, Mike. Mike Drought, you said something else too that I meant to comment. What was the other thing you said I meant to comment on?
I'm not sure. I said building your credibility and turn up, just in general, not just with the attorneys.
Okay, that's what I wanted to comment on. Is I had a doctor actually, and it's called credibility. But here's what Mike said: credibility with the public. Mike, are you going to get credibility with the public? No. Why?
I'm not sure. I don't understand.
Has the public already been branded?
Yes.
How hard is it to unbrand something, Mike?
It's very hard to overcome that negative stereotype.
Do you know there's only 2 ways to unbrand or overcome? So in other words, chiropractic has a 67% negative name recognition and only 80% utilization, right?
Right.
Okay, and you know what that's from, don't you?
Yeah, it's from years of subluxation based.
Yeah, telling everybody we can do everything, confusing the hell out of them, right?
Right.
Okay, so we've already been branded, haven't we?
Yep.
People say, "Oh, just go out and tell people." No, you can't just tell them you do everything, and then you become known for everything. That's not how it works. Mm-hmm. And then another marketing chiropractor said, "Oh, social media." He was so big on social media. He goes, "Oh, social media is going to blow up the 8% where there's more people." You know why social media is not going to blow up the 8% utilization?
Yeah, because you're just talking more crazy to people, and they don't want to hear it. I think it's going to drive it down.
You know what? There's 2 reasons, and one of them is exactly what you said, and what you said, driving it down, is exactly right, and that's what I told them. Here's why. Number one, chiropractic's already been branded. There's only two ways to lift a negative brand. There's only 2 ways. It's already been branded negatively because of chiropractic, but here's why social media is not going to increase utilization, and it will actually decrease and hurt chiropractic. Here's why. Social media is only a vehicle of communication. What you say, you can still say all kinds of confusing crap. So, in the United States, how many people have never heard of a chiropractor, Mike?
Very few, I think.
That's why. In other words, it's already saturated. The awareness of chiropractic is already in the masses. Now, if there was a large group of the segment that didn't know chiropractic, then there's still possibility for branding them. But no, Go out to your gas station at lunch and ask 10 people if they've ever heard of chiropractic. Go ahead, and 9.9 out of 10 of them will say yeah, unless they recently moved here, unless they're one of the recent illegal immigrants, right? So it's already known. So it's already market saturation with the branding. That's why it's not. That's why it won't work. Now, the reason, Mike, that what you said is true. Now, I don't know if you know why, though, Mike. Do you know why that there has a real high likelihood? Well, actually, you did say it. It's actually going to go down because now when social media, well, now who all is controlling the message of chiropractic as a profession?
Like other chiropractors.
Everybody. In other words, it's not coming from the ACA. In other words, it's not unified talking points that create a branded message. That's not what's happening. So now everybody's on YouTube talking about asthma, allergy, and cancers. I've never seen more chiropractors talk about cancer treatment than the event of social media. So now you have more vehicles of delivery to distribute more crap. You're exactly right, Mike. And that's why I said it's going to go down also. It has nothing to do with educating the public. They've already been educated in the craziness of chiropractors claiming they can do everything. So there is no branding. Now what you will do, Mike, is you will create authority and branding personally. In other words, you personally, with the attorneys you deal with, you can create authority and branding with that attorney, right?
Yes.
And that's what you have to do. That's why chiropractic does not have franchises, because there's too low of utilization. You actually have to create personal branding. In other words, they have to know, like, and trust you, because they don't with chiropractic. And that's what happens. Mike Erdman, can you think of a benefit? Paul, Dion?
Yeah, Doc, you're using highly reliable tests that holds up in court.
Let's leave the court part out of it. How much more interesting is it? I don't know if interesting or satisfying is it when you're using more scientific, highly reliable tests? How much more interesting is that?
Very interesting.
Versus the crap stuff that's not reliable.
Don't want to do it anymore, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's like I had a chiropractor. You know, what are the top 1, 2, or 3 non-reliable diagnostic tests that chiropractors routinely use?
Neurokilometer or the leg length.
Well, there's the top 3 is the neurokilometer, number 1. Number 2 is thermography. Number 3 is surface EMG. So I have a client say to me, well, I can show you studies where thermography works. I said, you're exactly right. I'm not saying it doesn't work. Why is it not scientific? Why is it called junk science then? Do you know why, Paul?
Because it's not accepted by the mainstream medical professionals.
Well, that's not why, because thermography does work, okay? But why is it not accepted, and why is it considered junk science, even though it works?
Bad extra examiner reliability.
Exactly right, Paul. It's not reproducible. I said, do you know how easy it is to change a thermograph just based on the venting in the room you're doing the thermograph on?
Pretty easy.
Yeah, and this chiropractor actually thought it was reproducible. Like, hell no, it's not. That's why it's called junk science. Same with the neurokilometer. Go ahead and do a neurokilometer and then have 2 other people do it or 3 other people. I mean, the reliability is just not there. Now, we have an RC here. Who's RC? RC, Cola. Who's RC? And we have no audio for RC. Okay. Rob, what's another benefit? Rob Arsenal.
I just got on the call. What were your benefit for what?
Of personal injury.
With the price point.
Meaning what?
you go hire services.
Yeah, and we talked about that. I mean, it's it's pure efficiency. You just make more money for your unit of time. Like, why not make 3 times the amount of money instead of 1 time? I mean, it's just kind of simple crap. Robert Bino, what's another benefit you can think of?
Well, all the great benefits have been talked about, but it's a service that we can offer and promote to our own patients because they all have a circle of influence of people who will be in car accidents.
Yeah, that's true. So it's very easily accessible. It's regular business. It's out there. It's ongoing, and you have access to it, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's right there. I mean, if you want to get a few personal injury cases, and that's all you want to do, just start talking regularly to your past patients. That's all. Remember, they get 2% of all the people get in an accident. That's all your patients. They have a circle of influence of 7. Multiply that times your past patients. Multiply that times 2%. Divide it by 12 months in a year. Well, that can be a significant amount of high influence personal injury patients. Well, now guess what you need to do? So if you got that target market out there and it's already in a trusted source, what do you have to know now, Rob?
Educational sales.
Well, you got to know that and advertising, don't you?
Right.
Now you got to know advertising. Because they're not buying subluxations, are they, Robert?
No way.
You ever had a patient come in wanting to get their subluxations checked?
Never.
How many years have you been in practice?
30.
Right. How much sense does this make? And so we go out and do the same thing tomorrow, right? This is the crap. Now, again, I say this is the great news about when you know. I always said, if you don't know this stuff, it's really bad news, and that's why the numbers of chiropractors are so low. They just came out with a study about 6 months ago. The national average was $87,000. How'd you like to come out of school nowadays with a $200,000 plus loan and make an income of only $87,000? That doesn't include the 50%. They're not even in practice after 5 years. So, Sarah, can you think of a benefit with personal injury? Seth, can you think of a benefit?
Oh boy, there's everything that everyone else said. I just kind of think about the patients too, just using these systems for PI. Chiropractors are really the only ones positioned to treat the patient through the entire case of a PI injury or a personal injury.
Of any injury, right? All injuries heal the same, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look how big the market is now, Seth, now that you've learned this. Look how many people are having injuries, going through the 3 phases of healing, and none of them, 92% of them, are never getting joint functional care.
Yeah.
How big is that market?
It's huge.
Unbelievably huge. Seamus, can you think of a benefit?
My biggest benefit was, it's a constant referral machine for low advertising dollars.
Yeah, we talked about that. The amount of money that you spend versus the return is unbelievable. But Seamus, you got a unique benefit in its own, don't you?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I say you have a unique benefit in personal injury in its own, don't you?
I guess so, yeah.
What else? Hey, Seamus, what else in your life have you ever made $1 million a year at?
Nothing.
Nothing except what?
Personal injury.
Personal injury. Seamus does over $2 million in personal injury. By the way, Seamus, if you had to guess how much money that it cost you to create that $2 million, what would you say?
I mean, like you said, under $500, gas and postage stamps. And yeah, that's it.
Is it like crazy?
It's crazy.
The amount of money you can make relative to the time, money involved is absolutely crazy. That's why I keep saying this. It's the #1 most lucrative skill set you can have. Personal injury attorney, educational sales. Steve Hillman, can you give us a benefit? Tim, can you give us a benefit? Tim Kennedy, are you there? Tim, are you there? Tom, are you there? Are you there, Tom? And Ms. Robinson, can you think of a benefit? Can you hear me? Okay, so let me just sum this up. Hopefully you're seeing a lot of benefits, and the reason I wanted to, and there's one other benefit is there's one other benefit. The other benefit is the mother load. The mother load of personal injury is the personal injury attorney. Now that can be good and bad. Now, the bad part is if personal injury attorneys do not use you, and that's what's happening. Most personal injury attorneys are confused and they don't know the benefits of how a chiropractor can help them. So if it stays that way, that's bad news. But if you know educational sales, all of those people, 3 out of 4 of those attorneys can be flipped. And the soft tissue injury is the #1 injury. So 87% of the injuries are the soft tissue injury, and 80% of the cases are the attorney. Now, the good news is when you have 80% of a particular market in a particular category, guess how much time and energy and money it takes to only now focus on that particular target. In other words, if the category, the personal injury, was equally distributed, let's say into 10 different categories, you'd have to know and chase after 10 different categories. So there's a pros and cons to every number. So the good news about 80% of the cases being with attorneys, the bad news is they don't think they need you. Now that in turn becomes your good news, because now you have this massive amount of people, these attorneys, it's one category, so I just got to get one thing right. I just got to kind of get one thing right. I just got to do one thing really well, not 10. That's it. And I have access to 80% of the market. That's a major concept right there. So, and then the last one is the number of injuries. You know, if I got to tell you, when I drive by like the Laser Spine Center, you know, I'm like, man, I'd hate to be a laser spine guy. I mean, how many people really need laser spine surgery? You already know a lot of people are getting laser spine surgery that don't need it. That is one small market. You know, 99% of back pain is mechanical. It has nothing to do with surgery. So I look at those guys and I'm going, man, I'm glad I'm not those guys. That is one small market. They got to, you know, they're doing some surgery on people that really don't even need it. And by the way, that's shown in the statistics, how many people have surgery that don't even need it. So I wanted to point out all of these benefits, and I just wanted to remind you, what the heck are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your effort? Where are you putting your time and effort that is wasted crap? And reprioritize 2017. Reprioritize your marketing. Reprioritize what works, what gives the highest benefit, the highest return, the highest result, the lowest cost. It's repetitive. It's a forced market. It's unbelievable. This thing is, it's like the elephant compared to the mouse in chiropractic marketing. And so I just wanted to reemphasize this, and I was especially reminded of it when I talked with a doctor yesterday. And he's like treating it like it's Google, you know, like or Google or Facebook pay-per-click, and not giving it nowhere near the attention and focus it deserves relative to the return you're going to get.